All right, here are our guests. I will be presenting them, of course, separately. Just a note from University Siegen, we have a whole team, so you will meet more people during the live presentation. This is one more trick to stay tuned, so feel free to stay until the very end of today's session. Now, who is behind today's webinar? This is My German University, a database where you can find fully or partially English taught programs in Germany. Now you can even find the German taught study programs there, but I believe today's audience is more interested in English taught study programs. So once again, feel free to use the study finder to filter for appropriate programs. The filter that you see right now is just a demo version because there are much more things to adjust, like program requirements or your qualifications. For example, you have already your IELTS TOEFL test and you are specifically searching for programs that will be accepting that, or something related to work experience, or I don't know, admission parameters. So all of that can be adjusted, and then you can even sort programs to, for example, application deadline, and many other things. So yeah, I believe this is very user-friendly and useful page. You can also check out the articles. They are free of charge, written by internationals. I always emphasize this because, general information you can always find in internet, but those have this segment of international students, because we also went through the application and the studying process in Germany, and we then try to share this insight in those articles. I will be also posting them in chat today if needed. And of course, to stay connected, we have webinars. This is a subject webinar where luckily we have guests from German universities, and we are always very thankful for their time and availability to present programs themselves, and even more, stay here to answer your questions. So thank you very much from all the attendees and from our team. And at the same time, we have general webinars where we talk about broader topics like uni-assist, scholarships, visa, studying in Germany generally, where my colleagues Marie and Oliver talk about this specific subjects or topics. And there we also have this live Q&A part for 30 minutes. They are happy to answer your broad questions. And of course, our team, you can see our founders and the whole team that makes My German University possible. We are all, we have different backgrounds in terms of our nationalities, and we also have German team members. So it's always nice, mixture of points of views of how it's feels studying in Germany from internationals and from Germans, and this is also visible in our articles. All right, as I have mentioned, our study finder looks a bit more in depth rather than on the demo version. So I have filtered for programs in development, political, and social. So of course, this is a really broad title, but that's why you have more than 500 programs available. And I don't think that everybody has enough time to go one by one, like to check all the programs. That's why the first natural breakdown will be into bachelor's and master's. You have relevant numbers here, but then you can apply all different filters. For example, requirements, finances, university type, program features, etc., etc. One frequently used one is about English only. So if you are not ready right now to start your studies in German from the very first semester, you can filter for English only programs. But take into account that some programs can also have like German only in second or third semester, and then they also provide some courses for it. So you can also use all the different filters in this regard. If you want to know how it feels studying social sciences as an example in Germany, and what are the expectations in terms of further career prospects or rankings or tuition fees, application admission requirements, we also have subject pages. For social science, there is a big page, and then you have, because social science consists of all different programs and directions, you have lots of breakdowns, and you can select the most suitable one for you. And regarding the application and admission, please note that this will be a very broad list of relevant documents or so, because today as well you will hear that all programs have different requirements, be it in terms of GPA or language that they are accepting or some other details. Therefore, it's always very, very important to check carefully each program and their own application and admission requirements. And also the way application is done. Is it through university platform or uni-assist or something else? Another advice we always give is to not be guided by only fees, rankings, and names, and check all programs individually, because these are we believe these programs matter most. All programs are really different, unique, and you will be like studying it for at least 1.5 years. So you should be sure to invest time in exact program that you wanted to study in Germany. Briefly about the university landscape. In Germany, there are universities and universities of applied sciences. We have article that discusses all the differences. There were historic differences, etc. Today, I just want to mention that usually the programs that are offered by universities are more research or theory oriented. Universities of applied sciences have more application and practice oriented programs. There were some PhD differences, but now it's more or less vanished. And additional thing is that, and it's very, very relevant for today's session. So don't search for programs according to program name unless you know how it exactly is called. So if you search for like in social sciences, then I don't think you will find anything, because there are all different programs and the names are really, really different. So please filter programs by or search for programs by subject. This will be the best way to do so. And now, just in advance, for all programs, you will see an introductory slide, which has, of course, a speaker, but also a short information about the program and its location. I will not stop on explaining details here, because we have present speakers for that, but so that in case you want to quickly locate yourself in Germany, in your future university, you can have a look at the map. So first speaker is Brian Matebula, who will be talking about Master Social Protection from Hochschule Bonn-Rhein-Sieg, and I will go behind the scenes to share some program links and info emails while Brian takes over for the next 15 minutes.
We can see it. Firstly, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Hello from Germany. My name is Brian Matebula. I'm the program coordinator in the Master of Science Social Protection. What I'll be doing in the next 15 minutes is just to walk you through our program. I'll first start by introducing our university so that you're able to locate where it is in Germany. And then I'll introduce what is social protection, so then you can get a broader overview what the program is about. And then I'll delve deep into the overview of the program so you can get more substance in terms of what the program is about and what it covers in terms of its structure. And then I will conclude the presentation by providing an overview of the application process as well as the next steps. Our university, we are located, I'm just trying to remember there. We are located in NRV, North Rhine-Westphalia. Our university is pretty young. It was founded in 1995. It has 3 campuses in St. Augustine, in Rheinberg, and in Hennef. We have over 9,000 students, 151 professors, 297 academic and scientific staff. We have 5 different departments and 33 study programs. Out of all of this, 20% of our students are international. As well as the university has a cooperation with over 80 universities internationally. We are also located, for those not aware or quite aware of the German geography, we are located closer to Cologne and the city of Bonn. Now, what is social protection? I just thought maybe it's important firstly to define and understand what is social protection before we get to speak more about the intricacies of the program. What we mean by social protection is that it's a human right, is defined as a set of policies, programs designed to reduce, prevent poverty, vulnerability throughout the life cycle. Social protection includes benefits for children and families, maternity, unemployment, employment injury, sickness, old age, disability, survivors, as well as health protection. Social protection systems address all of these policy areas by a mix of contributory schemes such as social insurance and non-contributory tax finance benefits, including social assistance. Now, for those who are interested in the area of social protection, you could also see the handbook that was released in 2021 by academic head Professor Esther Schuring and Marcus Luwe from EDOS. Here, the handbook itself also serves as an important learning tool for our students. It's also quite an interactive tool, so it forms part of the curriculum and a learning structure for the program. This is also available online. An overview of the program. Now, in terms of the program itself, our program is a 2-year master's program. The program itself is 10 years old this year. It started in 2015, and we have over 200 graduates. We are based at the main campus in St. Augustine, as well as I've noted earlier that we are an international program, so our medium of instruction is in English. However, for many who have probably looked online, is that you would have seen that it still notes Master of Arts, but in 2022, we changed from Master of Arts to Master of Science in Social Protection, mainly because there was a demand in the field for more quantitative subjects to be included in the program, mainly because field practitioners required that our students should have more quantitative skills. So that now the curriculum itself embeds a little bit more quantitative subjects. In itself as well, the program embeds extracurricular activities, including excursions. For example, one of the key excursions that we undertake for every study group is a visit to the European Commission to understand how the European system functions as it relates to social protection. This forms part of the examination as well. We also have what we call brown bag lunches. These are a thematically focused presentation where industry experts come and present on topical or relevant topics around social protection, and where our students can engage with people working in the area of social protection. Similarly, is that given we're a University of Applied Science, we also collaborate with renowned practitioners and academics from high-ranking institutions. For example, we have professors that come from the United Kingdom, such as the University of Manchester and the University of Sussex. We also have people coming from United Nations University here in Bonn, focusing on specific areas of their work. It also allows us to bridge the gap between the practice as well as some of the theoretical work. As I explained a little bit earlier, is that our students, we are an international program, so we also inculcate a culture where students get to work in small groups, acknowledging that all our students, given that we are at master level, come with different learnings and experiences. So this in itself allows students to exchange knowledge amongst peers, as well as intercultural learning. Now, what you see now is our global footprint. What you can see here is a map of the world, and we try to locate where our students come from. What you can also see is that we have a global footprint where our students come from all over the world. We have students that come from North America, South America, including the Caribbean. We also have students that are from Europe, mainly also from Germany, and as well as the surrounding countries. But we also have a predominantly strong component that comes from Africa, mainly sub-Saharan Africa. But we also have other students that come from the Middle East, as well as South Asia, and as well as the Far East. So what you can see is that in itself that we are quite an international program. For example, in this year's study group, we have 47 students that come from 26 different countries. So hence we say that we pride ourselves in having this global blueprint. Now, in terms of the curriculum itself, what you can see here, as I had explained earlier, is that we have 2-year program, but here it's broken into 5 different parts. In the first part, it's called the online and on-campus. So given that we had changed from a Master of Arts to a Master of Science, is that as soon as students are accepted into the program, they get introduced online to pre-courses. This is also a pre-course in economic statistics and academic writing. It's also an understanding that most of our students don't come with this background. However, they do possess other skills. So the idea here is to build a base so that when they start with us, they have some basic understanding of some of these key subjects in areas of economics and statistics. Now, also, what is different with our program is that in the first semester, which is from September until February, our students are expected to be on campus and the learning takes place face-to-face. And in the first semester, they'll have 4 sub-modules. I will not go through the specifics. These can be seen online. However, in the second semester, our students have the opportunity to either stay in Germany, given that the delivery is online. And in this online semester, students are not expected to be on campus. And then in the third semester, we have what we call the practical term. In the practical term in the third semester, the students have an opportunity to undertake an internship. So what we see is the students generally tend to stay in Germany throughout their studies. However, in the practical semester, some may find an internship within Germany, within the EU, and sometimes within other international organizations such as the World Bank and the United Nations, and they will undertake this internship semester there. In parallel to this internship semester and the online class is that they also undertake research methods and Studium Generale. The Studium Generale is where students can earn extra credits, a total of 5. The idea with the Studium Generale is that students can acquire other skills alongside what we provide in the program, such as presentation skills or such as other skills in software or data analysis and so forth. So they vary in terms of where the students locate or get these extra credits. Some are provided within the university, such as taking German class, for example. In the 4th semester, the students undertake a master thesis after doing their research methods. This is when the students, in consultation with their supervisor, will identify an area of research within the field of social protection, and they'll have 6 months where they will work on this research thesis. Also, in the 2nd semester, the students have an opportunity to specialize in what we call electives. That basically means out of these 6 electives, students can choose 2 areas where they go in depth and specialize in the subjects. For example, they can focus on the elderly as it relates to social protection, the children as it relates to social protection. They can also focus on migrants, families, the inclusion of people with disability, and the working population. So within there, 6 options are provided, and the students can follow 2 areas of which they choose to specialize in. Now, as I already alluded to, that in the 2nd semester, which is from March to August, the course goes online. Here, all the learning takes place via WebEx. Here, I've provided an example of landing page or the course page. So what it does here, it integrates the literature, video lectures, and exercises, where the students will meet the teacher and the teaching will take place online, and the examination will also take place online. This is just an example of what it looks like in terms of a landing page for an online semester. Now, I've already explained an overview of the program. We are also fortunate that within the program, it is possible for students, or a percentage of our students are part of the 𝘗𝘪𝘵𝘯𝘨 scholarship. So that basically means certain number of students can apply for the scholarship and they join the program as scholarship holders. However, it is important to note that this is a separate application process to the one I'm going to explain later. For this DAD scholarship, it takes place between June and July. In total, we generally get 8 to 10 scholarships offered every year to students from the Global South. And in terms of the next winter semester, those scholarships have already been offered. Now, as I indicated that our students also undertake in the practical semester, which is the 3rd semester, they undertake an internship or practical term. Here are some, what you see are some of the organizations of which our students or alumni are currently working or undertaking an internship. In some of these organizations, we already have partner relationships where every year we send a certain number of students with a guaranteed internship. For example, that includes Save the Children and the United Nations Research Institute for Social Development. However, we do also have current students that are working at the World Bank and then at the Institute for Social Security in Geneva. But as you can see, the scope of where the internships differ. They can also be in Germany, they could also be international. But we also have some that return to their home country and do their internships within their different government and non-governmental organizations. Now, I just thought maybe it would be important to also just put a face to some of our students. Here, what you see in the middle picture is a last year student group on our visit to the European Commission in Brussels. Yeah, this forms part of the Module 3 on social protection actors. So here, students visit the European Commission and they get to learn how within the EU, the policy instruments are designed as it relates to social protection, and they get to engage with different EU stakeholders. They also get to engage with various organizations that work within the EU. So this is one of the extracurriculum activities that are noted. We also have, I think, on the bottom right here, where students organize themselves for International Dish Day, where, as we said, we pride ourselves in our global footprint, where they come together and enjoy each other's culture, diversity, and so forth. So this is an important component of the learning experience. Now, in terms of the application process and the next step, in terms of admission criteria, firstly, the student must hold a bachelor degree in a relevant study field. So this is given that we're in social science, most of the degrees what we're talking about is developmental studies, social development, and so forth. However, in the second admission criteria is that our students are required to have 5 months work experience in a field related to social protection. This could be other work within government and non-governmental organization. So we would require a reference letter that attests to this, that you do have this requisite experience in social protection. Similarly, is that we also require English proficiency, but this is generally more applicable for students who, in their bachelor degree, it was not conducted with English as the medium of instruction. As part of the admission requirements, we require the student pass an entrance exam. This is a research proposal. So that basically, it requires the students to identify an area of research within social protection of which they will be interested in, and they will write a proposal on that. So that's one of the criteria that we look at in terms of the requirements. I think I still have a minute or so. I'm going to try to wrap up. I will provide a separate text in terms of the application process, but also here you can see the application guidelines. We also have online a step-by-step guideline on how to go about applying to our program. And I will also, it provides as well the email of which you can send for inquiries, and there we'll be able to respond adequately in terms of specific questions that you may have around our program, as well as the admission requirements. Now, in terms of the application process itself, we are here now, which is the open day. In terms of the winter semester intake 2025-2026, the deadline closes at the end of this month, which is February 28. Now, this deadline applies for students who are non-EU, as well as students who require a visa to study within the EU. However, if you do not require a visa, the application deadline stretches to the 31st of May. Now, once you apply, by the 30th of April, you would receive your status or admission update. And then you'll be added onto our learning platform in August, September, where you will get to introduce to our pre-courses, which I spoke to about earlier. And then in September, the semester would start. Now that takes me to around 15 minutes, and then I will just leave that extra minute to any other question, and then also just thank my German university and other colleagues for this opportunity to share and present about our program.
Thank you very much, Brian, for the presentation, all the details, dear attendees. I know you will have questions about the scholarship. So the scholarship explanation for 𝘱𝘢𝘷𝘦𝘳𝘴𝘪𝘯𝘨 program is already in chat. Info email is also there, and application portal for the uni program is also there as well. And yeah, Brian, thank you very much for also sharing some additional information. Now I share my screen. And I am glad to hear another presentation, which is from TU Dortmund. We will be listening to Master in Religion, Ethics and Politics, Master in Arts program from Professor Dr. Matthias Kortmann. Thank you very much for joining. I stop the screen share.
Thank you very much. I will join my presentation, just a minute. Okay, first of all, I'm not the only one present here. With me is Magdalena Franz. She's the coordinator of the program. So she will also be able to respond to some questions afterwards. So our program is a rather new one. We started 2 or 3 years ago. Religion, Ethics and Politics. We are at Dortmund University. And we are part of the so-called Ruhr Alliance, University Alliance Ruhr, which means that as soon as if you are enrolled in Dortmund, you have also access to Bochum and Duisburg-Essen. So it's like these different universities that cooperate very closely with each other. We are from the Faculty of Humanities and Theology. It's a quite interesting structure of a faculty because we have both theologies, but also philosophy and political science within not one faculty. And so we work very closely together when we established this new master's program, Religion, Ethics and Politics. And so you have all the different subjects within under one umbrella with the very same faculty. What is behind this idea of putting religion, ethics, and politics together? You can see that religion and politics is a very recent, very current topic. It's very controversial, and there's a tense relationship. You can find ways of cooperation, but also confrontation between the both sides. And so interesting to us was to disentangle the cooperation patterns between both sides from different perspectives, from a theological perspective, but also political science and philosophy perspective. So we refer to issues such as religious pluralization in the program, but also changing moral concepts, globalization, and immigration are very important aspects. And students are supposed to learn and address the interaction between these different spheres, religion, ethics, and politics, and also challenges that results from this complex field of tension, and perhaps also develop interdisciplinary solutions when it comes to solving conflicts between religion and politics, or religion and society. This is how we built our program. This is a kind of study plan. We have a couple of foundation courses at the beginning of the study where you get where you get an introduction into the theologies, but also political science and philosophy. That is, if you have studied one of the subjects as a bachelor's, you will not be supposed to enroll into that very foundation course, but the others you are supposed to enroll in. And then we have three clusters, as we called it: tolerance, conflict, and identity. And the three different clusters refer to different aspects regarding religion and politics, and they look at it from different disciplinary perspectives. For example, conflict is from political science, and also theology. Identity is from theology and philosophy, and the tolerance cluster is done by political science and philosophy. And then we have very much focus also on profession analyzing. People are supposed to also take an internship somewhere that can be abroad, but also in Germany as well. And what we also have is in the third semester that you have that you are supposed to specialize in one of the three subjects, meaning theology, philosophy, or political science. So that you have like more specialization and that you can like dig deeper into one of the different disciplines. So this is more details on the different semesters. So as I already said, the first semester is particularly foundation courses into the different theologies and the different subjects, but also Judaism and Islamic studies, because we wanted to widen the focus on Christian theology and also include Judaism and Islam as the other monotheistic religions, that people and their students get an idea of how these religions also refer to societal issues, but also to what extent there can be a conflict between minority religions and society and politics in different countries. Then, as I already referred to, the different interdisciplinary clusters. So you can see that in all of the clusters you will have seminars on two of the different subjects, philosophy or political science. We very much refer to questions of state sovereignty or intervention, but also questions of political ethics. It's very much also about religious interfaith overlap situation, religious cooperation, but also interreligious dialogue. These are a couple of issues you will refer to when studying the different clusters. So you will not have to pick all three clusters. You're supposed to select two of them. So you can already at the start decide if you want to dig deeper into one or two of the different subjects. So if you are particularly interested in political science, then you should particularly refer to tolerance and conflict cluster, and the identity cluster you wouldn't decide to enroll in then. So only two out of three clusters you are supposed to take part in the study. Then to give you a brief introduction of some of our students, what we also have is we invite lecturers from all over the world to give seminars, particularly on Jewish studies, but also Islamic studies and other courses. This is an example of Professor Jacob Wright from Emory University in Atlanta in the USA. And he came to Dortmund to teach a very diverse group of people on Jewish studies. So this is an example where you can also see, we saw that in the last presentation as well, how diverse our our students are. They also come from different parts of the world, all over the world, from all different continents, apart from Australia thus far, but we hope that we will have someone from there too. Then we can really also say that we are a global study program. This is also an example that I mean, it was a very nice Facebook post by 𝘱𝘢𝘕𝘳𝘳𝘳 after he studied at TU Dortmund University in the program, and he was very fascinated by the atmosphere and also the very diverse and very intriguing group of people that are enrolled here. So I wanted to share this advertisement for our study program. And then we have also, and he also mentioned the cat Henry as a plus. It's a campus cat. He's walking around. You will see him when you are on campus once in a while, and he's very much accepted here and a very popular figure on campus, I'd say. So what we also do a lot is we try to invite many different lecturers to give lectures on different aspects that have to do with religion politics. This is what we do at least twice per semester. We have people from all over the world, the USA, for example, also Israel, from different parts of Asia and Europe. And every time as a faculty, we are very much interested in both religion and politics and philosophy generally. So not only in the context of the program, but also generally, the faculty very much is active in inviting people to talk about religion and politics issues. These are only a couple of examples you can see here that all happened in the last 2 years. And what we also do is try to cover current issues. I'm a political scientist, so I very much cover the political science courses. And what we also do here is we talk about current issues such as the American elections that we had in the last year. And there we also talk about aspects that have to do with the impact of these elections on religion and politics in the USA, but also why the elections perhaps what religion has to do with voting behavior, for example, in the USA. And the same we did last week when it comes to the German elections now, talking about what's at stake at these elections and what to expect here. So, and it's very, very, very well visited. So people very much are interested in these kind of lectures and very much come and to take part in that. So what can we say about TU Dortmund University as well? We have a campus university. These are a couple of aspects you might refer to, you might have in mind when thinking about studying in Dortmund at the university. It's a green campus. I mean, normally when you think about the rural area, you don't think about green, the color green, but you can see that this has changed a lot, and the university in Dortmund is particularly a part of this changing process. I also already said that you can also take part in courses at other University Alliance rural universities, so at Bochum and also Duisburg-Essen. Then what you might think of when you think of Dortmund is soccer, football. So what we also have is a kickoff where new students are introduced to come to the stadium in Dortmund, the very famous one. And are introduced and welcomed by the university president. So this is something people very much like to attend. And if you are interested in soccer, you will not be able to not be aware of football or soccer in Dortmund, because you can see it everywhere. And so if you're interested in football, Dortmund is absolutely a city for you, I'd say. Two aspects, or another aspect that is also perhaps interesting for you is that we also have an excellent network that offers opportunities to stay abroad. We have also the University Ruhr Alliance has an office in New York, for example, and they very much help people to also come to the US for a semester and spend a tuition-free semester there. So this is also an option you have when you come to tour Dortmund University. And as you can see on the picture again, very much campus. Everything's very close together. And you have really a kind of a university life that you can really feel and breathe when you are on campus. How to apply? There are a couple of things you need to think of, or you need to have done before a bachelor's degree or equivalent, particularly in humanities, cultural sciences, social sciences, economics. So it will help you if you have studied theology, philosophy, or political science or international relations as a bachelor's. But if you have studied something else, you have the possibility to show that you have also philosophical, political science, or theology aspects within this bachelor study program. So you are supposed to fill in a self-disclosure where you can show, where you can fill in courses that, in your view, have a connection to one of the subjects of the program. You need to at least have a good grade when it comes to the bachelor's degree as a whole. And this is like calculated by Uni Assist, where you also apply as a start. And the language level is B2 or better. Something else you are supposed to do is you also submit an examination task, which is particularly discussing questions or aspects with regarding relations of religion and politics. For example, we had a question such as discuss possible challenges and chances of interreligious dialogue, for example. And then they are supposed to have some thoughts about that and also submit that with your application. And this also helps us to have an idea of what your knowledge on this topic is already about, particularly if you haven't studied philosophy, political science, or theology. Then if you hand in a very good examination task and where you show you have some understanding of the field, and you have also the capability of working scientifically a little bit, then it really helps you if you put some efforts into this examination task. For the winter term, we have when you're not when you are a non-EU EEA national, you apply via Uni Assist, and the applications period started already. You can already apply for that, and it ends on May 15, and the semester will start in October. We encourage you to apply as early as possible, because if you apply early, you will receive your acceptance letter early. But if you are EU citizen, you can also hand in your application at a later point in time. You can find all the information when it comes to this also on the website. And then we have a last slide with some contact information. So here's the website. You can see it on the last slide. And there's also an email contact. We have that is particularly for the Maripol and the Master of Regional Politics program. And we are very much interested in your questions. And that's it from my side. This is that was the very last slide. Thanks a lot for your attention, and I'm very much looking forward to your questions. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Professor Kortmann, for the details you have provided. And Magdalena, thank you very much also for the additional info email. I just put it in the chat once again so that everybody can see. Dear attendees, feel free to make a note and then check the pages first very carefully, because all the details are there. You also hear them today. And then if there are still questions, feel free to contact them. Now I share my screen. and give the mic, last but not least, to University of Siegen. Professor Dr. Christian Lahusen and the colleagues will be presenting Master Roads to Democracies. You see the program has longer name, but I used this shorter version. Yeah, the next 15 minutes are yours, and I'm happy to.
We'll be presenting the MA Roads to Democracies offered at the University of Siegen, located close to Cologne, 1.5 hours. And it is an interdisciplinary program in history, political science, and sociology, 2 years entirely in English. And the presenters will be Professor Christian Lahusen, lecturer in the program, me, Luz Packers, coordinator, and Rutu Gohl, who just completed the program with us. Yeah, you can here see a picture of our campus where most of the lectures of Roads take place. Yeah, you can pay special attention to the pictures as well, because these are all pictures taken on campus and with students of the University of Siegen. Yeah. The content will be that first, Professor Lahusen will give academic insights into the program. Later on, Rutu will give a testimonial, and I will give you information on application procedures, job perspectives, and a short glimpse to support activities and living expenses at the end. So, Professor Lahusen, the floor is yours.
Yes, thanks, and welcome to everybody. Also from my side, I'm Christian Lahusen, a professor of sociology, and as Luz has said, I'm involved in the teaching and in the coordination of the program. So I'm glad also to answer the question you might have at the end. Now, the program basically has already in its title the ambition or the objective. We are interested in democratic governance because this is indeed a highly important and highly challenging topic. The question of how to organize societies, how to govern societies, I think is ubiquitous. It concerns all regions of the world, and democracy for sure is only one form of governance. But I would say that this is a good way of governing, particularly because it gives a strong say to the people, although the systems are very different according to countries, traditions, and continents. And that's basically the ambition of the program, is to give an overview and a good understanding of the historical foundation and the current settings of democratic systems and its diversity across cultures and social backgrounds, and the current challenges to which democratic systems of government are exposed, and which potential answers to these changes and adaptations of the governance models might be necessary. So all of those who are interested in this, I would say, crucial topic, this program would provide a good home. And as the other programs, this is an interdisciplinary and international master program. We indeed have, as the other programs, also a strong global footprint, and also in a very interdisciplinary background of students. And that's why, as the other programs as well, we start in the first year of our curriculum with setting a common ground of understanding for students, because we do indeed have students with an academic background in the larger area of the social sciences. And this might mean a lot of different academic specialities and competences. So that's why it is crucial for us in the first year to develop, first of all, a common conceptual and theoretical understanding of the topic of this study program, so democracy and governance. And secondly, a proper toolkit of how to analyze, how to dissect, and how to better understand the democratic governance topic. And here, basically, it's a question of introducing students into the methods of the social sciences, because at the end of the program, we wish to have capacitated students to do their own scientific analysis of democratic governance, best practices, challenges, and reform processes. The second leg of the program is the opportunity we provide of students not only to study at Siegen University, but to be mobile and to attend for one term another university campus of one of our many partner universities. Here I have included just some of them where our Rhodes students most often go. And here the idea is indeed to broaden the horizon, to have first impression of a different European country, of a different academic background, and further insights into theories and methods of analysis in the social sciences. Next slide, please. And then finally, we do have a number, Lutz, if you could, yeah, thanks. We have a number of thematic modules who deal with specific aspects of the topic. So basically, we're interested in the institution and actors that make up a democratic governance system, particularly in its historical development, but also in its diversity across continents and cultures, to assess basically advantages and disadvantages of different institutional settings. We're interested in the political cultures behind basically the political system, so the sociable perspective is included. And certainly we have a view on globalization processes, transnationalization processes, which affect or promote democratic developments across continents. And all of this is done in a strong comparative perspective, which also implies that each of our courses is highly impregnated by global experiences. We have indeed students from all continents, and this makes teaching for me as a teacher so fascinating, because discussion always involves discussion with students from all over the world, which have very diverse impressions and experiences with democratic governance or with non-democratic governance, and this makes learning a highly intense and interesting aspect. So I leave here my slides and give over to Rutu, who will share her experiences.
Thank you, Christian. Hello, everyone. My name is Rutu. I'm a recent graduate of the course, and I wanted to expand a little on what Professor Lahusen said. In terms of the courses that we had throughout the master's program, we had courses from sociology, political science, history, empirical methods, which I thought was very important because we learned how to conduct our own research. We learned qualitative methods, how to conduct interviews, how to analyze them, how to use softwares. Some of the interesting modules that I studied along with my course mates was global social inequalities, history of many colonized countries, social movements. We also had some new modules on technology. One of them was called Gender, Science and Technology, where we also studied the correlation between democracy and artificial intelligence is increasingly becoming a new topic of discussion, which is very closely related to politics and sociology. We also studied musical sociology and its connection with political environments and social movements. We focused on some subjects that were on international relations, European Union. We had some modules on public health, welfare states. And then there was some modules that specifically focused on helping students develop their master thesis ideas. In addition to this, we had courses which would help us gain more intercultural competence. So we had electives which taught us intercultural communication, academic writing. Siegen has a very nice Sprachzentrum language courses, which offers, I think, more than 10, 20 languages at different levels from A1 to C2. What I found interesting was that we were a group of 20 students from 20 different countries. I think this is very similar to the previous study programs that we heard about. All of us students were very active in the student parliament. Ms. Pakas has also developed a mentoring program. So right from the start of the semester, we already had a mentor who we could go to. The buddy program really helped us as students. We have a very active alumni club. Overall, the environment as a student I found to be very diverse and inclusive. And I feel like I developed long-term friendships through this program. Everybody was very supportive. I had a small tip for all of you when you apply for this. Ms. Bakas, could you go on to the next slide, please? Yes. One thing that I found very interesting in this course was how we learned to develop our academic skills and professional skills through these various assignments that we needed to work on. It was group presentations, individual presentations. Sometimes there was group work where we had block seminars. We had to write term papers, and we had a free choice of what topics we could choose for all of these assignments. What was helpful for most of our students was when we were applying for this course, already to have an idea about what master's thesis topic you want to choose later towards the end of the study program, because then you can pick up there's a wide variety of courses that Roads to Democracies offers. And if you already have an idea about what your master's thesis topic is going to be, then you can pick and choose modules that are very relevant to your master's thesis topic. But I have really, as a student, I had great experiences. I think I've grown not only as a student, but academically and professionally, and it was a very wholesome experience for me. I hope this helps, and I think Luz will take over now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rutu. And I will give some information on the application process. Exactly. So if you want to apply for the Rhodes program, you need a first academic degree in history, political science, sociology, or a related field. You need to have English proficiency equivalent to level C1. We accept TOEFL, IELTS, but also medium of instruction certificates. And you need to have a study-related special qualification, what means that also your research proposal will be evaluated. I will give further information on that on the next slide. Deadlines for application are for students who need to apply for visa, 15th May and 15th July for all the other interested students. As I said, you need to provide a research proposal, and this is as important as the other requirements. This proposal is evaluated according to the following criteria. So you need to meet the academic standards. It should be an in-depth exploration of the topic and an exhaustive academic analysis, what means that it should be a well-defined topic. You should have a precise research question. It should be connected to the relevant academic literature, and it should be really a coherent discussion and analysis of the topic. Furthermore, the topic should be strongly connected to the study program. However, you are still free to choose your topic. We have a guide on the website that we would highly recommend to check when writing the proposal, but please feel always free to contact us. We can also have an online session and explain further on some details if you need further assistance on that. Yeah. Now the job perspectives. So the program qualifies for responsible positions in national and international organizations like UN and EU institutions, parliaments, ministries, political education agencies, non-governmental organizations, development cooperation. So you can see on the right, there is an alumni of us who was working in the international cooperation, development worker in Uganda. And also for international operating companies. So on the left corner up, you can see an alumni who is currently coordinator for the International Paralympic Committee. And you can also check further profiles on our website. And of course, the program qualifies for research, so you can also pursue a PhD. And many students are many alumni are currently in their research for a PhD. Yeah. And next slide. Yeah, as Rutu already highlighted, we have a mentoring program at our faculty, and we have a very close contact between professors in the program due to the good supervision ratio that we have. Here you can see a get-together within our mentoring program with lecturers, mentors, and mentees in a cafe in Siegen, We have a successful Model United Nations group, alumni network, career service that supports you also in English with your application documents for jobs, an equal opportunities office, family service office if you're arriving with children. We have daycare facilities for our students, job placement service. If you're searching a part-time job, you receive support. The Language Center was already mentioned. All the courses are free of charge at the Language Center. There's German for beginners up to German at C2 level, and many, many more activities you can join, sports, music, and so on campus. And last but not least, the International Office advises students to prepare for monthly expenses of approximately 800 to 1,000 euro. So rent is around 350 euro, in the student's residence even at 290 euro. And we have a semester ticket fee of 320 euro that includes the Germany ticket. So you can travel in the regional trains and buses all over Germany, but we do not charge any tuition fees. Yeah, and we close our presentation with a sunny picture of Siegen, and we are very happy to receive your applications and now your questions in the Q&A session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much to all of you for this great presentation and everything that you have shared. You answered, like all the speakers answered most of the questions, if not all, within your presentations, but I think some of them are still worth discussing or answering in live mode. All right. So let's start with Brian, or maybe I can also mention the universities if people don't remember. So first question for Bonn-Rhein-Sieg. The question is about the quantitative subjects. So there are two of them, and I will read it out both. Mr. Matabula, you mentioned quantitative subjects. Do you also teach languages like RStudio, for instance? And the second one, quantitative research methods were not that strong in my bachelor's. How advanced do you expect me to be in that regard?
We actually do have someone that teaches the R course, and we also within the R course we have advanced and basic level with an understanding that not all students are within the same skills level. And as I said earlier as well, is that not all the students come with the quantitative subjects, hence at the beginning the pre-courses are also quite important as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to write your master thesis with quantitative methodology. It can also be qualitative as well.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. Then maybe question for Dortmund. Yeah, this is a question for everybody, but let's start with Dortmund. What are the prospects in your respective universities of staying in academia and also being active in research during the studies? I don't know, Professor Kortmann or Magdalena, whoever wants to take this one.
The question was if you can stay in academia, or if
Yeah,
it prepares you for a career in academia.
Prepares, and is it possible to already integrate within the research already during the studies, maybe a university journal publications or something
Oh, I see.
participate?
Okay. I mean, Magdalena is like an example for someone who is now in academia, and she studies the German version of it. So perhaps you can say something about that.
Yeah, I think for international students it is easier to get a scholarship for doing the PhD, but this is possible doing in our faculty the PhD. The other possibility to do the PhD is like me working for the university, and this depends on how the budget is from the faculties, and if there are persons, if the institutes are searching persons to work there. So we cannot say this for sure, but I would say it's definitely possible to stay in academia.
Yeah, so I can perhaps add to that we have lots of research projects going on, and we always like include students in there for as student assistants. So this is what we do a lot. And so there are, I mean, it depends a little bit to what extent the budget to third party funds if they are available. But we, of course, we employ people as student assistants, but also include them in the project. So there, I mean, we have many students that also started a PhD from different, and that they start different programs at our faculty. So this is quite common to do so. So yes, I'd say if you have the idea of staying in academia, it's a good idea of studying 𝘈𝘊𝘥.
Maybe teams.
I thought maybe I should add quickly as well is that the University of Applied Sciences as well is that in the last couple of years we do also offer PhD opportunities, and within the department we also have students that are undertaking their PhD and they work as student assistants and also get to teach and get involved in different ways within the program.
Maybe a comment from Team Siegen.
Yeah, well, I guess what Matthias Kortmann and Brian Mademle have said applies also to Siegen. I would say to all universities, because in the German university system basically is very strongly oriented towards teaching and research. So most universities have ongoing research projects and thus proper positions for student assistants to apply for. And depending on the size of the university, sometimes it's quite easy because there are few students and more professors. But I would say that that's a general feature of the German university system, that it provides very good entrance points for people who want to stay in academia.
Thank you. There was a question regarding visa, and I think it's for Brian, because you mentioned the second semester is online, but students need still to apply for a normal student visa, right? And they will then arrive.
Yeah, the second semester is online. Well, what that does is that it allows those students who can take a short break to come study for 6 months and return to work. As we also have students that come from government, or they're currently working in governments and within social protection, so they would come for 6 months. However, in terms of the visa itself, is that you apply for your visa and it's given for throughout your own study, but it's up to the students to decide whether they choose to stay for the remainder of their study period or go back to their home country. It's quite flexible. You can apply for a 6 month visa and then go back, because you also have to have proof of financial means while you're here. So some it might be suitable for the 6 months to provide that thing, that proof of sustenance for that period.
Thank you. Now all questions are answered in the Q&A, but I would like to still mention the one about the for the Siegen. It was somebody who's already very well who knows very well the program. I'm a huge fan of Professor Katrin Ackermann. Will I get any chance to interact with her, take any classes, or maybe asking her to be my thesis advisor?
Oh, yes, absolutely. She taught us some classes as well. She's wonderful, and you will absolutely have the opportunity to interact with her. I believe she would also be teaching some modules in the winter semester.
For TU Dortmund, can you please mention these group sizes? And you did already answer that if somebody applies earlier, they will receive the answer earlier, right?
Group sizes. So we have Magdalena, do you have the numbers right now?
Yeah, I think there are actually around 30 new students for each semester, and they vary. So in some courses, you have a very small number from about 10 students and a very intense relation or a good relation to the lecturer, and some courses are bigger, depends on the interest. So for example, the conflict cluster is very popular for the students, and there are the course size is about, I think, 20 to 30 students per course. So I think it's a good learning atmosphere.
Right. This is very important because in social sciences you need to discuss a lot, and always all these discussions are very helpful also when if you are writing your thesis and then you have this colloquium, then you get new ideas, and so it's really nice to have the seminars and discussion in small group sizes. Dear attendees, now you have time to think because all of the programs are very interesting. Of course, they have different directions, but from the same subject. So yeah, you need to decide or maybe apply to all of them and see where to go. For all programs, so 2 programs have direct application portal. They are listed already in the chat, and for one of them, there is 𝘈𝘂𝘳𝑖𝑠T procedure. Again, the link to 𝘈𝘂𝘳𝑖𝑠T portal is in chat, and some additional information. The next step is that you will receive a follow-up email from me on Monday with a recap of what we discussed today, with, of course, relevant links, additional information, maybe presentations as well. And then it's already up to you to prepare a very, very good and strong application with good motivation letter, CV,